There is a space of being that is cultivated by souls who are called to a higher way of life. And in this space of being, there are experiences that are common, that are shared. These experiences have been told and retold over the course of human existence on this planet, and they come to us as the wisdom of the ages. In every age, these experiences are available to all beings. And those who are on this path, this eternal path, the pathless path written in the sky, are the ones who undergo these rites of passage. When you are in the space to experience, to be, at first it may be difficult to discern where you are and what this moment is in your life. Afterwards, sometimes seconds or minutes afterwards, sometimes days afterwards, weeks, months, or even years, it becomes clear that that was a transformatory space of being, and that that moment was a crossroads. It was a split in timelines that have taken you into one set of possibilities as opposed to another. When you make these choices, they appear in your life later as part of a greater story. Joseph Campbell wrote of the hero's tale, an archetypal journey through life that we each travel in microcosm, that are presented to us in history and in stories as literally the hero's journey. Every movie, every fireside tale, every book in some way encompasses this hero's journey, and we live it in our own lives. If we are familiar with the hero's journey, then we can in some way discern the general patterns of our lives. And we can, again, in some way predict what is to come next. It's possible to look at your own life and see your own hero's journey and discern where you are in your own personal tale. But in order to bear witness to these moments as consciously as possible, it's necessary to obtain the ability to be present, to notice the moment, to not be able to become lost in the cascade, the torrent of thoughts that lead us back into the past or forward into an imagined future. It becomes necessary to be able to be present in the moment and to be fully aware of your surroundings and not to be guided by what has come before or what you fear may come next. And this ability to be present determines how that moment proceeds and to what influences, both external and internal, one is guided by. It's in these moments that we find out who and what we are, what our orientation is. And it is in these moments that we determine what our future shall be. Because there truly, in life, in existence, is no future, there is no past, there is only the now. Just now after now after now, moment following each other. So all energy we devote to the past or to the future is wasted energy. All of that energy should be concentrated upon the moment we are existing in right now. The moment that is created by all past decisions, all past now moments in which we have made decisions to lead to this present now moment. So there's no use in regretting the past or fearing the future. It's wasted energy because now is all we have. And the decision that we make right now is the only thing that matters. What happened in the past doesn't matter. What's going to happen in the future doesn't matter. Only this, right here, right now, matters for you and for all who coexist within your sphere of influence. Living this is not as difficult as it may seem, but it does take some practice. And there are technologies out there that allow you to do so. Affirmations can do so. Meditation can do so. All of these tools open the doorway into perception and into consciousness. And it becomes possible to clear the detritus of the mind in order to become present and to learn how to be, because we lose that very early in life. We lose that once we achieve self-consciousness and we began to be impressed by society. And by impressed, I don't mean like, ooh, this is society, how awesome. I mean, society basically imprints you with its patterns of behavior and being. This occurs first through the family and then through the external environment. We go to school and we are impressed with lessons that teach us how to be civilized, how to be in the presence of others outside of our immediate family. And as we age, we impress ourselves with different cultural imprints that lead us into the varied directions and paths that we take in life, be they professional, be they personal, or other. Now, there are a lot of people out there who follow alternative paths, and I have followed an alternative path for a good proportion of my life, in that I have taken the path less traveled, as many of you have as well. But what has been important to me, as it has for many others, is information and knowledge, Gnosis. What has impressed upon me has not only been external, it has also been internal. Experiences that I have had that have convinced me that there are other forms of reality besides that which we can see with our eyes, hear with our ears, feel with our fingers, smell with our nose. There are senses outside of the five normative senses, and these senses inform us just as surely as do the normative senses of the material world. Recognizing this brings us to the understanding that the intuition is more than we think it is. Recently, I've read tell that the five senses actually combine in order to create a sixth sense, and I think there is some validity in that. The impressions that we receive from our physical senses can combine, and the information we receive builds new information. It's a combination of all that comes from the five senses. But there's more to it than that. There are psychic senses. There are senses that connect to the quantum level of communication between individuals and groups and the world around us. We receive input at every level of reality interaction. I'm receiving sensations now from these pieces of grass that are touching me on my neck, on my leg, from the particles that touch my skin as the wind blows them across me, from the wind itself as it brushes against the back of my neck, the back of my head right now, from my ears, the highway in the distance, the sounds of the buildings close by. All of these inputs are creating an understanding, a normative understanding, through which I interpret the world. And this is the same for all of us. There are psychic impressions we receive from the collective unconscious and from the group unconscious that we all share, and these inform our ways of being in the moment as well. And the choices that we make, the subcultures that we belong to, we connect to those psychically as well. There are those in the alternative community who pursue paths of power, of personal power, of worldly power. That is not something that I have ever chosen to do. In the East, such powers are often known as cities. These are things such as telekinesis, teleportation, flying, bilocation, telepathy, things of this sort, right? These are powers, abilities to access resources that give us information and allow us to accrue material power if we so choose to do so. And there are those who follow those paths of being. Some call such people witches, mages, warlocks, things of that sort. Even priests and priestesses of different religious traditions and spiritual paths can achieve the ability to pursue and wield these types of abilities and powers in their lives for themselves and for others. There is dark magic and there is light magic. And the decision that these individuals make to pursue these paths of power and wield them on the material plane are decisions to go above and beyond the normative senses and to achieve what some consider to be a higher state of being. When you look into the literature of spirituality over the ages, you come to the understanding that not choosing to wield these powers is a decision as well. Not choosing to impact your material reality in such a manner is a decision as well. One that allows people who are otherwise able to achieve what seem to be supernal states of being not to do so, which is a form of power in itself. And power that is not used is power that accrues to the aura, to the personal field of expansive awareness. And that power builds and builds and builds over time. Now, for those who pursue a conscious path of power, often this path is fraught with difficulty because there are repercussions. There are reverberations outside of our own sphere of awareness that branch off from us out into infinity that cause all kinds of new potentialities to open up. And many of them contain dangerous destinations. When we first choose to use power in the world, we become aware that there are karmic reverberations, repercussions, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. In times in my life where I have applied power to the physical world, it has never been in service to self. And it has never occurred on a conscious level. It has always occurred at a level of spontaneity and need in that moment. So it's never been in a place where I have done so consciously in order to accrue personal power to myself. It's always been in response to what I would call an emergency gamma situation, one where external events cause internal abilities to rise unawares. And it has been amazing for me and for those whom it has affected. This is a difficult topic to talk about because I'm not generally one to speak about such things, especially in public. But because of my own personal experience, there are things that I know are true and that are possible, that other people who have not experienced these things do not know is true and are possible. And I accept that. I accept all perspectives in life because we are infinite and eternal beings. There is no death. And we are all at different stages of equality within this overall span of experience and lack of experience as creation is ongoing and eternal. There are new souls, there are old souls, and so we experience this reality together. For those who choose paths of power, I salute you and I thank you for your service to the overall evolution of humanity. I do not choose to wield personal power in such a manner. I do not choose to follow the path of earth magic in order to accrue power in the material world. I have never chosen that path. I will never choose that path. Because there is another way. There is a higher way. There is a way that allows us to contribute to the overall evolution of humanity in a way that leads us all, instead of each of us individually, towards the accrual of personal spiritual power. This is the life we are born into, and these are the experiences that we have. So everything that occurs around us is supposed to happen, is meant to be. If those choices have been offered to you, know that they were choices, that these were decisions that you made at some point in your life, and that each decision thereafter that led to the accrual of more personal power was a conscious choice. But at every instance, there is the potentiality to shift and to make a different choice, to follow a different path, knowing full well that there will always be temptation to slide back down into a service to self mentality rather than service to others. So I want to encourage all out there who have chosen to follow paths that lead to what some would call a dark path or the dark side, to speak in Star Wars terms. It's always possible to make another choice, to go the other way. And I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. And I'm here to assist you in making that other choice if you desire such. So anyone out there who feels that this is something they want to pursue, you can contact me here or through any other of my social media sites. You can Google me, Rocket. I'm the only one on the internet, so I'm easily found. Send me an email, send me a message, contact me. Peace.